Why should you have to wait until the late game to get the Imperialism CB? I unlocked advanced Casus Belli for every nation in the world in 1444. This includes both Imperialism as well as Nationalism. This should allow for a lot more early game expansion for many different nations, and I'm sure the world is going to look quite different because of this change. If you enjoy the video, please remember to like it and share it with a friend. It really does help the channel grow. Why would France need to use Reconquest when they could just use Nationalism? This is going to be a good one. I'm very excited about it. As I said in the intro, everybody in the world, everybody, no matter who they are, has unlocked Nationalism and Imperialism Casus Bellis. As is standard protocol, we deleted the natives. Last video we kept them. Don't get your hopes up about much more moving forward because unless they're fixed in 1.34, I'm probably just going to keep deleting them. This map mode here is going to be incredibly important as the game progresses. Anybody whose primary culture is in this color will be able to attack and take land from anybody who has land in this culture. But you guys know the drill. Speed 5, unpause. And taking a look at the current wars going on in the ledger, it definitely looks like people are taking advantage of Nationalism CB. Looks like Castile's getting in on that North African imperialism a little early in this timeline. Bengal seems to be pretty interested in growing early as well. Wouldn't it be nuts if we had a game where we didn't just see a massive, giant, blobby Bengal? My Breton brothers and sisters, I regret to inform you that Brittany has fallen to the French. Well, it appears young Ladislaus here has taken the throne in Austria as well as Hungary. And them being the emperor is definitely going to help them in terms of war strength. No idea how it happened, but it looks like the Turks are getting beat up on by the Egyptians in this timeline. And Austria is just seeing how much border gore they can truly create over here in the Balkans. And currently at war with Burgundy, who attacked into the empire for no reason like they always do. Well, it doesn't seem like the Ottomans are doing too well here. They have been split between the Egyptians as well as the Poles. The new mayor of Constantinople's name is Jagros Bjacinskiewicz. But with the Ottomans, for the most part, out of the fight, what does that mean for this area? Are we going to see an absolutely massive Mamluks who just steamroll everybody else? Like, did the Mamluks become the Ottomans? And 50 years in, things are definitely looking a little different. The Balkans and Greece have been split between the Mamluks, Poland, and Austria. France and Naples seem pretty interested in splitting up Italy. And Castile, who does not have the Iberian wedding, is getting dominated by France. Colonization is quite sparse right now. All we have is a couple of Castilian provinces in South America and a couple of Portuguese provinces in the Caribbean. England also has one province up here in northern South America. Ming is still going strong. It looks like they've actually expanded quite a bit, pushing into Mongolia, pushing into Manchuria, and more importantly, pushing down into Vietnam. I feel like you don't see that very often. You see Ming collapse all the time, but you don't really see them kind of blob out and become a massive nation. Mostly because they can't really attack their tributaries, but you know, still, I'm excited for any variation. And a little over 100 years in, we're looking at a big, strong France, Austria, Commonwealth, and Mamluks. Russia has formed. England, Denmark, and Baumanis are also all in the top 8. Russia's borders aren't particularly impressive right now, but they are about to take a big chunk out of Uzbek over here. The Mamluks have eaten up a ton of land down in Arabia, Ethiopia, and Anatolia, all the way up into the Caucasus. And Austria is continuing to keep it real, annexing most of southern Germany, eating Bohemia, all the way over into Switzerland, even into Burgundy. The colonial situation hasn't changed a whole lot since we looked last, except for France has joined the fray. But over 100 years in, and you're still not seeing a whole lot of colonial stuff. Though it looks like Kilwa has decided that they want to go down here to the Cape of Good Hope. No surprise, Ming has exploded and China is in absolute shambles, with Shun as well as Manchu taking over the bulk of the land. Castile does seem to be slowly falling apart. Morocco has eaten most of the land in the Maghreb and all the way into Iberia. Taking a look at the HRE, you can see they're not going anywhere, but Brandenburg is the emperor. The Reformation is in full swing. Looks like it's mostly in northern Germany / the lowlands, with a couple of reformed provinces here and there. And as per usual, Anglican England. It's also not a Chewbert vid unless we have a big, strong Bengal. So here you go, big, strong Bengal. Timmy is still going strong over here. Transoxiana is a vassal, and they are loyal currently. So if they can integrate them and make their way down into Delhi, they could probably form the Mughals. Now this one is a total doozy. France is at war with Great Britain, Austria-Hungary, as well as Russia. Even better yet, the wars are not even related. France attacked into the empire to take some empire lands, but the second war here is because Russia got a PU on Britain and France is contesting it. Two Sicilies also formed, which I always appreciate personally. China has become an absolutely massive Thunderdome. What will the results look like in 150 years? Who knows? It's anybody's game. Timmy's doing all right, pulling through. They integrated their subjects, and it looks like they've even eaten a little bit of Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the Ottomans, the Mamluks, having a very good game. New World is filling in slowly. You got Brazil and Castile in South America, a little bit of the British and French, Portugal, mostly in the Caribbean, as well as a little bit in Mexico and Louisiana. And France really seems to be struggling with the idea of not attacking into the HRE. They're at war again with Austria-Hungary after losing a war to them like 15 years ago. Castile's capital is down here in Fernando off the coast of West Africa, and it looks like they're about to lose their last province over here to Portugal. The Commonwealth is now Lithuania, specifically Western Lithuania, and Russia is Russia. I heard that you guys like to see obscure tags do well, so here's Liège dominating northern France and the Low Countries and Germany. While we're here, we might as well admire this absolutely massive Austria with an OPM Moravia inside their country. The India blobs are pretty standard, Vijay, Balmanis, Malwa, and Delhi. And then, of course, we have Bengal, because we always have Bengal all the way over into northern China. But southern China is taken over by Ayutthaya. Basically, entirely taken over by Ayutthaya. Ah, yes. Australia. And the New World is mostly Brazil, Castile, and British Columbia, apparently. The French and Portuguese are mostly Central America, and the Portuguese and the British are mostly taking over North America, with the West Coast primarily dominated by Portugal. Do not ask me how this happened. I have no idea how it happened. But honestly, I like it better if I don't ask questions. These guys are an advanced, tribal, stateless society in Mexico. Animist as well, making it 10 times funnier. Aside from that, it looks like Bengal actually got devoured, as did Delhi. The Timurids came. Bengal got cut in half and lost basically everything they had in China. Meanwhile, the Timurids are absolutely exploding in size. Austria decided to go on a trip up north, taking everything from Sweden except for Stockholm, essentially. But then Sweden turned around and said, I think I'll just have Denmark and Norway instead. Also, Liège completely crumbled. You hate to see it, but it does happen from time to time. We have some big numbers in the development total here. At the end, Austria with almost 5,500 development, followed by Portugal and the Mughals with around 39. Russia just below them, and then about 1,000 less is the Mamluks. France, Revolutionary Malwa, and Vijay. Economic hegemon of the world is Austria. Not only did Austria crush Scandinavia, as we were seeing in the last time I checked in, but they also overtook most of the lands that Commonwealth had, all of the lands in Italy, for the most part, and a good half of France. The Mamluks ended up doing okay, all things considered. They hadn't really changed a whole lot in the last 200 years or so. Maybe they pushed into the Maghreb a tiny bit, maybe a bit more into the Horn of Africa, and united a bit of their borders over here in Arabia, but all things considered, a little bit disappointing considering the opportunity that they did have. Russia and the Mughals both had a very good game, splitting China, with Russia getting all of Korea and a good portion of Japan as well. And we can't forget about the good old Russian Bengal. Colonial Russia, best Russia. The Mughals also took a large chunk out of southern China, as I said, but also Vietnam and a portion of Laos. I think it's funny that Ayutthaya finished with like their 1444 plus a little bit more borders, but that's all right. They used to have all of southern China. Now we have Australia over here, as I showed before, but we've also got Australia over here, next to New Holland. The revolution spawned in India, up in the north there in Malwa. They didn't really do much with it, but it looks like they are actually winning a war, or at least holding off the Mamluks for the time being. This Kasanji tribal kingdom with the really cool flag actually did well again this time around. I think it was my last video that they did this. I like the flag. I dig the flag. Might be my favorite in Africa other than maybe Benin. New World is primarily Portugal. Looks like a couple of colonies have broken free here and there with Brazil, but you also have Britain and a little bit of French lands. Though my favorite thing that I have seen in this save is Great Britain. The Orthodox Kingdom of Great Britain under a personal union of Russia. It looks like Russia let them get disloyal for a minute, and they got their independence supported by the Mamluks. So it looks like they would likely break free eventually, but not after converting the entirety of their lands. Orthodox Great Britain. Got a ring to it. As far as the religious map mode for the rest of Europe, it's all Catholic, always has been. 2 Protestant provinces over here, and that's it. Though we can't forget about Protestant Iceland. Russia and Timmy pushed Orthodox and Sunni all the way into China, converting most of it, with a couple of Hindu provinces here and there for good measure. Buddhists and Hindus rule the day in Southeast Asia and India, no surprise there. We do have Orthodox Bengal, but it does appear that Anglicans survived, this time in the New World. Their Orthodox overlord has no say here. If you guys enjoyed that video, let me know by leaving a like on the video. I appreciate that a lot, and subscribe for more content like this because there is plenty to come. If you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments below. I read all my comments and it is very much appreciated. If you want early access to each of these videos, you can check out my Patreon. Linked in the description. For as little as $5 a month, you will get early access to all of them. If you want to join my Discord or my subreddit, you can join those communities. They are linked in the description, as well as my Twitter if you want to follow me and see what I have to say over there. But that's all I've got for you for this one. Till next time, stay chill.